1, 2, 3, 4.
What is happening, folks? Welcome to this week's episode of the podcast. Very excited to have this man on. He is all over the world, and the fact that we can get him in for a podcast has just blown me away. We had him in before a long time ago in the old studio, so please welcome to the pod this week, Mr. Ben Nicky.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro.
Unfortunately, Willie can't be here. There's been a thing happened in his family. He's apologised that he can't be here, but he's unavailable. But anyway.
It's been the very last minute as well, wasn't it? I was like, should we do a podcast? I haven't done one for ages.
Yeah, I know. And there's a line of people waiting to come on, but it was like, no, you're all getting put to the back pens in.
I'm only 10 minutes away, though, and it's pretty
but
easy.
You do. It's a mad thing that people don't realise. People go, what do you mean Ben Nicky lives here? And I was like, no, he lives here, but like he's always travelling, but he lives here. Like,
yeah, I'm rarely here, but
this is his base.
Yeah, when I am, mate. It's like I'm coming from down my kind of way up towards here it's a beautiful road, mate. Ben, who's with me, he's my videographer, who's from Australia. He's just moved over here with me too, and he's like, I can't believe how beautiful this country is. Like, sometimes people think there's a bit of a stigma or something. Like, it's so stunning, like especially in this weather.
When the sun's out and you see it in its glory, like you're just like, there's no other place like it.
It's the greenest place you'll ever go to.
Yeah. Because of the thing. Australia's beautiful too, like the Gold Coast and stuff like that. But I think it's the greenery and the scenery, and it hasn't really developed that well too. Like there's not loads of buildings everywhere. You know what I mean? There's a fair bit of it.
And actually talking about coming back on here, last time I think I was on here, what was it, like 2 years ago maybe?
Probably
at least
more.
Yeah, nearly
but people
three.
still talk about the Randy Mayer,
the
Bristol
Randy
accent
Mayer.
thing, my real accent, like, you know, everyone still talks about that. So that was on here, wasn't it? That was on here.
Yeah. With Willie G tattoo on.
With Willie.
You had any more tattoos since it?
I got no room. I got a couple on my ribs. Yeah, on my ribs. That's about it.
Yeah. Have you had the Willie done yet?
No. You need a microscope probably. So
no, you won't. You won't. You only think that.
I reckon you'd have like anxiety when you get it. So like
No,
you'd be like,
you
oh
don't.
mate, get bigger. Like.
No, see the guy
You'd
fought
be
with
watching
me.
porn like during it or something, just to be like, oh come on.
But see when you say that, when I got mine done, like it's a thing I talk about, even porn. Like the guy was like, if you want to get hard, he was a New Zealand guy that done my tattoo with a wee hammer and a stick, right, in Spain, and he was a tattoo convention. He's like, you want it to be hard so that it doesn't break up then when you're hard.
You actually did, or are you winding me up like?
No, I do. That's why I'm called Paddy the Dagger.
No way.
Yeah.
How, like, I would have just presumed that was your nickname for other reasons.
No. That's.
Oh my God.
So on my stag do, I got it done. But like he was like, get hard, because when you get hard, it's going to break up. And I was like, there's no way I can get hard in front of all these people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was just like, there's no way. And then, you're talking about anxiety. So I was
With
just
a traditional one.
yeah,
Oh,
a Maori guy done it. Yeah.
you're a trooper, mate. Wow.
So it was a friend of mine, and he didn't have any room. That basically was the thing. He was tattooed from his ankles right up, and he was like, "I've nowhere else, but I want to get this done." And he came to Spain because he knew there was a guy who was going to be able to do that, because you can't get it done everywhere, you know.
Wow.
'Cause it gets infected and stuff like
when
that.
you said, "Where's the most painful part to get your body tattooed?"
That
I
wasn't.
really am like in no league
But that
compared to
wasn't.
you.
Genuinely wasn't. I think the source place that I've had tattooed was like under the armpit or something like that. There.
Yeah, that hurts.
You know, it was like
Ribs,
anywhere.
ribs.
It was like, yeah. The
And you know
ribs,
that's normally a girl's first tattoo is normally ones on their ribs, and I'm like, how do they deal with that pain? Because like that for me, I've had to
childbirth, mate.
Yeah, they've got a different pain threshold.
Yeah, they have it more than us. Definitely do. But yeah, you're all around the world. I mean, I sit and watch. I'm busy, but when I see you, I'm just like, Jesus Christ, this man's schedule's just non.
Yeah, why I like coming on your one is because you genuinely love like every kind of the more kind of music that I would play. That kind of like you love everything from like classic trance up to like the clubland stuff. Like you like that. I like that because you know a lot more about like most people that I go with.
And as I said to you before, I go to Ibiza twice a year. And just let go, like just for them.
Well, actually, on that point, I brought you a present, and wait, give him here. I know you don't drink much, but like this, anyone that's like a bit of a diva will know this is a very good bottle of tequila.
Oh man,
Don Julio 42.
That's unbelievable. Thank you very much.
I know you got a little.
Thing of whiskey. We're going to swap. We're going to give you whiskey.
But I just thought, you know what? If you're not drinking, like when you do, you don't get much of a hangover on it, and you see all the little Kardashians and all that drinking
All
it.
drink
And
it.
that. It's a bit of a posh bottle.
I've seen the bottle of tequila. Tequila's the fucking drink at the minute.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Just
Thank you very much, mate.
Nah, you're good, mate. But normally when I go on a podcast or something, I'm always trying to think of like what to get someone. But I was
bring it in.
just give you booze, mate.
Good booze.
Yeah,
I'll bring that with me to Ibiza.
Bottle of
Probably
42.
not that big.
In Ibiza, in Ibiza, they like if you go with like one of those little bougie clubs, they try and
Jesus,
sell them for like 5-10 grand or something.
Honestly, like people,
people
don't.
The markup's like 1,000% in the club.
Even last year, I was really lucky last year where I was getting entry into the clubs like free.
No, you're a big shot.
No, not really, but it was one of them ones.
Let you, mate. I'd let you in.
I know the right people, do you know what I mean? So it was one of them ones. But we went to Pasha and we met a couple and they didn't have tickets. So when we got there, we were like, we're going to have to try and get them in. And I went up to the house like, look, I'll pay the Emmons, whatever we're.
Yeah.
And the girl was like, it's 300 each, like, for what they want. Like, to get them in beside you.
It's like $1,000 for just like literally like you have to remortgage your house to get a drink in there or something.
Well, the
30 euro, 40 euro for a drink?
45.
What? Yeah.
45 euro a drink. And it wasn't even there. It was high. It was high, yeah. I went into high and we met these like three couples from here. And I was just like, here, get a drink. And I was just buying drink like mad because that's all I do is just drink when I go there. And I was going, here. And then one of the girls was like, I'd buy a round. And she went up and bought a round and her husband was freaking out because he was going there. You've no idea how much it's going to cost. You know, and he's just buying rounds all. I checked the bank the next day and I was like, yeah, a bag of Coke was cheaper.
I had that in Vegas when I first started like DJing abroad, probably like 14, 15 years ago. I was playing in Vegas and we all went to like Spearmint Rhino for the first time because like me and my mates like I would have been in the early 20s or something. Maybe just turned 20 or whatever. And we'd all gone to Spearmint Rhino thinking like, like it's back, like, you know, like when you're down in like Bournemouth or somewhere and it's like £2 or something.
Check.
Got around in and it was like 5 Jaeger bombs. I don't know why I was drinking Jaeger bombs, probably not the classiest drink, but it was a long time ago. Dude, it was like 190 quid for like 3 drinks or something. Like, and I was like, yeah, okay, cool. Luckily, they changed the invoice in Rhino so it looks like a business expense. So all the corporations that go in there, it says like entertainment of like, you know, some kind of random name. It doesn't say Spearmint Rhino or whatever. But yeah, man, the drinks is one of the biggest markups in the world.
Big time. But you know what? Because you only do it twice a year, I don't take that. I just go, I'm enjoying myself.
I'd love to go on a rip up with you, like.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah. Well, you're saying about you probably might be in Ibiza when I'm there.
Yeah. I'm going to do that because I haven't booked it yet, and I haven't been. I'm normally there May and September, but it's not probably going to happen. I'm probably going to have to go in July or something like that.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely.
That'll be not.
You're playing
Eden, yeah. I got offered to do a few others like Amnesia and stuff as well, but obviously got a really busy schedule. And like
I was surprised you were even going to get one in. I was like, you probably only do it once this year because. Like your Las Vegas coming up, you've got
Glasgow and Aberdeen randomly in the next 2 weeks. I was in Indonesia till yesterday, was it? We got EDC main stage Vegas, which is I think most DJs' dreams because like it's alright in getting like main stages, but that's like the one that it's like probably more than Tomorrowland. That's the one that everyone wants to do.
Yeah.
And then it's like then the summer run. You get like your Greases, your Ibizas. Belfast, which we haven't spoken about.
A senior in Western Supermare as well.
Yeah, that's my hometown.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get Randy Mayer on the mic.
You're going to do it, eh?
Yeah. I used to live opposite Western Supermare Pier. True story. And my first gig was there. My mum and dad worked on the door, so they did the tickets and stuff. And don't know if you ever saw the news, but the pier burnt down.
That's right.
And me and my friend, Frankie, were the last ever people to be on the pier before it closed. We used to be in... you look a little bit like a gambler.
Right?
No, not. And I'll tell you why. We would be addicted to fruit machines.
Yep.
I can imagine, like all of our
100%. friends
look like you. They would. You look like a gambler on a fruit machine. So like, just some people just have a look like they'd be good on fruit machines.
Yep.
You have it, mate. So
I like stay away from them now. Like
we were the last people on the pier, and then we went home at like 9, went to bed, woke up at like 6 in the morning because my mate was staying around my house, and the pier had burnt down. And we were worried that because we were last on the cameras, maybe
it us?
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I do love Western Supermare.
They didn't rebuild it, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, they
it's
did?
insane now. Yeah.
So it's a proper venue and stuff.
People
That's
were-
where you're playing, the pier, is it?
Yeah, there was rumours that it was an insurance job, but I am playing near the pier in a few weeks, so I don't. If I get took out,
Yes.
saying that, I am not in a bad way. My
I don't
mind
know
is
if they'll
okay.
be watching it in the here over there, but you never know.
Yeah, they don't have TVs in Western, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like. Obviously, I'm a bit of a culture where I live here. We don't really have any kind of technology over here, mate. Like, we've just got cows and
do whatever. And what do you think of living here? Because the last time you were on, we were talking about it. Still
I've been
in love
here-
with this?
what, like 4 years, maybe 4 or 5 years. I love it. Like I said, I'm not really here that much, and the area that I do live in is so in the middle of nowhere and beautiful. It's a big statement, but I way prefer it over living in England. Like, way prefer it. Yeah.
And see, when you come home, that's obviously just like your base. Just wind down. Is it just like...
Yeah, wind down. Like, when you fly a lot, you are like addicted to like Netflix and stuff, because people don't realise, and I know you do it on a more domestic scale in terms of you're in the UK a lot more and stuff. You wouldn't be like in Indonesia or something, but I know you go to Australia and stuff, and you imagine doing that every week, like that airport run, get food there, sleep on the plane, wake up jet lagged. Like, you have to rely on something fun. So I normally just watch like some kind of film series that I get into.
Yeah, I know, and I get that. And people have this thing where they're going, look at him, like that must be amazing. People don't see the hard work. Like, he's only up there for a couple of hours, like, and you're going, you don't see the whole.
This
crap.
weekend we flew to I flew to Hong Kong. Went Dublin. I go Dublin to Istanbul, Istanbul to Hong Kong. 16 hours. Land. Go straight to the club like literally an hour later. So I'm absolutely dead. Play a set. Go back to the hotel for an hour, or maybe 2 hours. Wake up after a few hours sleep. Go straight to the hotel. Go straight to the airport. I flew to Indonesia. Landed. Played straight away again, and then went straight home the next day. So like, I literally have, like, you're in a country for like an hour.
Yeah.
I do choose to do that because I just like being at home.
No, well, Australia this year, like last year I was there for a month, and I was like, far too long, because there was there was too much time on my hands. I was like, I need to be doing something. You need me gigging or doing interviews, or you need me doing more.
Yeah.
So this year I'm like, bump, day, back home.
Yeah.
And I said, and that's just it. And we're planning it now, so I'm doing a wee bit like you know. I'm doing guitar, Bahrain, and Dubai on the way before we go.
Do you like Formula One?
Yeah, I do.
Because I was thinking like that's kind of Formula One-ish areas.
I did it. Bahrain.
Been trying to get a gig at the F1. They have like, I don't know if you've seen, they have like random DJs that like kind of play on the grid, and half the time I don't think they're doing anything. They're just like going like that because it's just one song, so you can't really mix in another song if it's one song. So which is quite funny. But they only really book like commercial kind of your names that do like chart stuff. But the Dutch love it. They have like Hardwell, Armin, Garrix.
So you need to go somewhere that's
but that's because they kind of showcase their own.
Yes.
If we ever get a Belfast F1,
Formula One,
I think I'll be all right. I think I might get a gig.
Where would the Formula One track be?
There is one on Property Pal.
That's corner.
Yeah. There was one on Property Pal. There's an F1 track, like not an F1 track. There's a huge 2 or 3 mile track with someone's house in the middle, and it's huge.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's like it's somewhere. It might be in the south. I don't know, but it's. I saw it on Property Pal.
We're literally
like
5 minutes away from the DeLorean track.
Oh.
The DeLorean factory was just like the next estate over here. And the track where they tested the things is around the factory. It's still there.
The lad that owns Lions, Isaac, he owns Lions. He lives not far from me, like kind of Hillsborough way, and Hillsborough karting. And I used to go down there. I was going to actually build a go-kart. Like I literally got into it so much. But it really hurts your ribs, and I fly a lot, so I was like, maybe not. But I went to the one in Bangor. What's it called?
Eddie Irvine.
Yeah, mate. It was actually a laugh, bro.
It's class.
Yeah, it was good.
I love go-karts.
Would you be into the F1?
Yeah, I'm fanatic.
Serious, yeah.
Fanatic.
A friend of mine, he worked. I don't know who he works for now because I haven't spoken to him in years, but he went on to work on film sets, and then Eddie Jordan met him, and he started working for Eddie.
He just
Jordan.
died, huh?
I know.
Did you see that?
So that's what I'm wondering, does he still work for him? But he took a job in Formula One, and his job then went from like setting up camp till like properly setting up the whole team at the Formula One. And I don't know if he's still doing it. I'm going to have to send him a message because it's put it in my head.
Getting Paddock Club tickets. That's because I always wanted to go on the grid and stuff. Like, and so I got like Red Bull passes a few years ago in Zandvoort, and dude, the prices are just absolutely ridiculous. Like it's getting silly now. It's like going to Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So like there's a premium, and it's you got all these Beyonces and J-Lo's turning up, mate, at F1, and you're like, dude, let real people go, man. Because
they're not there. For
I appreciate they're famous and all that stuff, but like like F1 is about just like the fuel and dirt and the RS zones and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But
no, I'm a petrol head myself. Like,
yeah,
definitely.
We were talking before, weren't you, about what car you want to get or something? You were trying to look at something.
911, definitely. It's the next one. It's a 911.
Would you be able to handle the rear wheel drive on that? Mm-hmm. They're pretty nuts. Like,
do you know what? It's hard not to sink the boot and throw it out and stuff like that, but when you get into a nice car and you drive it, like one of the best ones I ever drove was a CL63.
Oh yeah.
The big Mercs.
Yeah. I had a C63. Yeah, I had a C63. That might have been the one. Yeah.
I was going to buy one of them instead of that car.
Yeah.
But it was like, here's me. Do you know what? I'll just get a bigger car because I'm always driving.
Yeah.
And it's just more comfortable. Do you know what I mean?
Who has out of like the comedian circle over here? Is there anyone that's like a bit more of like a boy racer of their cars and that, or are you all like kind of?
I think I'm probably the only one. I've always been a boy racer. I've always pimped out my cars.
Like I said, gambler.
Yep.
Boy racer. Ibiza Ed. Just an overall character, mate. He's got his.
There's a name for that here, and it's just smacked out.
No, but this is the thing. I obviously I'm aware of like people that go to my gigs and the kind of market I've got, and over here it's everyone from like young lads that are just coming out of college or whatever, and probably going out for the first time, and tops off and going mental, bottle of Bucky and all that, and then all the way up to like 40-year-olds that love old Clubland and the old classics and stuff like that, but. Smicked out is my favourite type of person because they always stop me in like the when I'm driving my car or whatever. Like if I'm doing petrol, they'll like do burnouts around me and just be like hanging out the window. And I like the culty smicked out lot, the ones that have got like they're like if it's greenkeeper clean on about Massey Ferguson's and John Deere's and all that.
The icy one the other day.
If it's red keeper in the shed or something.
Yeah, and it's all like the car meetups and stuff.
Culty smicks are my favourite type of people, and I got a lot of time for them. I love them. They're funny, man.
They're prop. Is this what does it say? Oh, you can't even see it. I took a picture of it. I can't even remember it now. When you get a
was like get a bucked or something.
It was the weirdest one I'd ever seen. I can't even remember what it was now. And I took a picture to look at it. You just put it in my head. But it's even people say to me, "What's your audience like?" And I go, "I'm the darts of comedy."
There you go.
Like my audience are
bit of Luke Littler.
Yeah, and people find it hard. People go to me, "I come to your show to do support for you. It's really hard. Your fans are like full on."
Yeah.
It's like a weird. But last year when I done the SSE, I went. Because I had the DJ on before.
How surreal is that backstage? Because I remember 2016 I came and did SSE.
Yeah.
My first headline, big show over here actually. And I remember walking backstage and you've got like pictures of Beyonce at SSE. Like these huge names, Westlife and all that. And I was just like, oh my God, it's mine. So that was that surreal for you.
Have you seen that? They'll put the plaques on. And it's
well, actually, there was pictures of all the acts, like a couple of big ones.
Now they're putting plaques.
Oh yeah.
So it's like
I'm going to go back and try and get one. Yeah.
But you're probably on if you played it.
Yeah.
I think it's on. Next time I'm
it was just like a Ben Nicky headline show, so you'd think
because they put like a black plaque behind, like something that you would get from like YouTube or something like that.
Yeah, sick.
And it just says, it'll say Ben Nicky 2016.
Yeah.
And you'll be on there. And there's like lights flashing, top and bottoms. Class the way they've done it. It's really nice. It's just got this days and Irish rap money.
Funny you should say that. Like
Big postman.
Oh, you're all good.
Sorry, bro. I'm up for a podcast. I've got it on Do Not Disturb as well.
Funny you should mention like the SSE and stuff, and you mentioned Hardwell.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's not a good subject.
Did you ever hear about like that?
Yeah, I know.
The fiasco.
Yeah.
Like here, because see, that was all like. So that I don't know what year that was, but
that was I think 2015 or 2014.
Was it? So I would have been 18 then, but it was like the ones maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years younger than me. Yeah. That was like the big group that sort of went there. And do you remember this?
It started with the bus situation outside and all that. Yeah,
the parents were all giving off about it.
So that like because like the rave scene here like was. like really resurgent then, you know, like there was so much like events constantly.
That was when T13 was around, wasn't it? I remember I was going to do the last ever T13 and they literally closed the venue down just as we were about to announce. We're like, oh no way.
Because it was great and like so many people were going to it, but then a lot of like underage stuff was happening and fucking like then dodgy E's were going about and everything, and that Hardwell concert was like the biggest of the lot. It made the fucking news because there was like 300 like kids that had like went to A&E and stuff like after that. It was
that actually
crazy.
that many, or was it just like
maybe it was?
I think they fucking ramped that up to
Yeah.
make it, you know, to give it a fucking bad name.
I think as an artist, if you're doing, you know, like, let's be honest, if you go to Glastonbury Festival or anywhere, there's always going to, or if you go to, let's say you go to Cathedral Quarter on a Saturday, there's probably a couple of fights, a few people that get drunk and fall over at their head, people that probably get into disagreements, someone that might, you know, get... Dude, how is this... Sorry, how this is on Do Not Disturb.
Is he doing it for your...
Look, does that not say Do Not Disturb? It's my doorbell.
Is it your front doorbell?
Yeah, it keeps ringing me.
Yeah, that won't
Shall I try and answer it on there? 1 second.
Answer it and say what's happening.
It's ended now. Yeah. Sorry, I've already cut back to this. No, with, you know, like on a normal night out, yeah, like anywhere in the city, there's always going to be things that, you know, people that get drunk or fall over.
It's not the act. It's
not the act's fault. Yeah,
this is what I say. It's
Hardwell
like,
wasn't handing out
if
DVDs.
Hardwell sent, right, everyone's going to get whacked out tonight, I'm going to chuck out loads of stuff to you. Like, I mean, yeah, but it's not really the
I used to
fault.
do security at lots of the concerts and stuff, right? And I remember when I was younger, we actually worked up in Stormont doing the gig for Rod Stewart. So they played these, it was Elton John, Rod Stewart and thing. And the Rod Stewart concert, there was a full-on riot because paramilitaries were sitting in the two seats, rows of seats, and then they started fighting each other because Rod obviously does a song where he talks about Celtic and they pulled out the Celtic. So, you know, I was like, of all the things, the riot police could call the Rod Stewart concert at Stormont.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And and at the time I was going to raves and I was going, raves get a fucking hard time. This has fucking caused more chaos than anything else. And it was brushed under the carpet.
Yeah.
Like completely because it was paid for by the government. It was this thing about peace process and all. And I'm going, they're fucking brushing this under the carpet. I says, fucking Prodigy or Scooter played back in the day. They were like, oh, this is a disgrace. Look at all these kids.
I think
enjoying themselves.
Everyone's got to moan about. There's always got to be something that happens, and like, you know, no one wants to see. I think there was a big show down in the south, like probably a year ago. I won't name what DJ is because it's not really fair. It's not their fault. But yeah, there was like another event that I think there was like some younger kids got absolutely smashed up, and like as in like wrecks, like not fighting. I think there might have been a fatality or something. But like, of course, like no one wants to see that. But you don't. You know, when you're putting a show on, like you feel like you have a responsibility sometimes, even though it's not your venue.
Yeah.
It's not even your show in essence.
Event.
Yeah, it's not your venue. No one's, you know, you can't decide who buys tickets. So like, yeah, it's sometimes a little bit unfair I've had it before when people have tried to like start rumours during one of my events. Like I remember having my first Belsonic, we were trying to say like, oh yeah, all these things happened. And we had to actually put a statement out, I think, from the police saying there was the most behaved crowd of all time.
Well,
ever.
I was at your show because we were flying out to Lanzarote the next day on a family holiday.
Yeah.
And I was at your show last year. Me, the wife, my daughter and my son. Nah, my son and daughter, as soon as we get in the gates, they says, I'm scundered, you're even here. And they took off. But I seen none of that. It was just everyone. And it's like, people go to me, oh, you go to Ibiza, is it really? And I went, see what people don't understand about dance music?
Yeah.
People are out for a night out.
Yeah.
You know, yes, when they're younger and stuff like that, there's a chance that like a couple of boys might fight or whatever. But it wasn't like that.
I think a dance music event is probably if your family or, you know, like your friends, or, you know, if I had daughters that were like 18, 19 or whatever, and you know, they wanted to go somewhere, I'd rather they probably went to a dance event with their friends than go to probably a pub or like a really dodgy like house until like 6 a.m. Like 100%. I'd rather they were at like a supervised event where there's people around and stuff, where there's like, you can't really get lost, or something happened to you, you've got people around to look after you. Like,
worst thing that's ever happened to me in Ibiza, guy.
Yeah, going to Ibiza on holiday is probably way worse than going to like a big festival where there's loads of people. Yeah.
Well, a guy tried to get my watch coming out of the nightclub. Like, do you know, when you're in the clubs and there's no, like, and you feel safe. Like, I feel safe going there with the girls and all, because it's nobody's really, everybody's just there for a good time. Do you know what I mean? And it's just dancing the night away. And
it's not like, also as well, especially with my group of my fans, I call them misfits. Like, that's our kind of community that we have. And like when we go to like certain we do our own misfit events as well in England and America and Malaysia and random places. We literally, people like they won't be able to go, so they'll have a spare ticket and they'll go into the group on Facebook or Instagram and be like, who wants a ticket? Like, I can't make it. And it's like a family thing, so everyone looks out for everyone. Yeah. That's how it should be.
And it's always been like that. And the one thing, even like the rave scene back in the day, was the one thing, like, it united everybody. There was no, like, we all went to the raves and we were all different religions, and it was all, everybody just, and there was no hassle. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And it was always a thing that I say, is it really brought people together back in the day. There was never any hassle. It was always just fucking, let's go and have a good time and rave. And just, I've always loved rave music, and still to this day, you know, people look at you and go, the age of him.
Yeah. I know. SSE though, did you find that you were, I find I was quite nervous on that first one, because that was, for me, it was a long time ago, but...
I don't get nervous in a sense, and it sounds a bit thing, but I just don't. But it was one of them ones I didn't know what to expect, because I played bigger crowds, but for myself, selling the tickets, as you know, when you do your own show, and I loved it. The first time I done it, I don't think my performance, it was a bit all over the place, because I was trying to make it a bigger show. Then when I done it the second time, it was like, well, I don't know what to do here. And then last year, it was like, the one thing I want to do is get everyone quiet in the room. And doing that was the biggest highlight for me. Yeah. I made the whole venue like completely silent, and I went, nah, I know I have them.
Yeah.
Nah, I know I have them. And because they were very rowdy, and the acts that was on before me were like, they're very rowdy. And I'm like, I know it's in an arena and it's a bit brighter than a comedy club and whatever. But no, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I normally prefer doing a wee small gig for the sweatiness in a wee room, but I have to say, doing the arena, like, in your hometown, is just, it's different gravy. Like,
I think, is it true that like this city probably has one of the best comedy scenes in terms of emerging talent and just like,
I think it's
the scene
in terms of what sort of happened was we all had to be good, because we've only 1 million people in the country.
Yeah, it's small,
you know, and we found it hard to get gigs down south. And then you had to travel over to England, found it hard to get gigs in Scotland and England. And there was a few of us doing it. Me and Mickey were doing it at the time, and then Shane started coming over, and then Colin went over there. But we all have our own individual act. And we had to, because it was a small wee bowl. And then we were making our gigs. So you had to change your stuff up all the time. So we all had loads of material. And then what happened was people went, hold on a minute, we have some brilliant acts here. And they were all going to see, you know, big acts like Kevin Bridges, John Bishop, all the bigger acts that came here. And then people were like, our acts are just as good. And then it just took off, and we all worked together. And
the podcast scene really blew up.
The podcast scene was the thing that blew it, like, off the chart, and people were like, oh my God, you know. Yeah. And then COVID, everybody here started watching our stuff. And
you know what I felt changed it a lot was when I wouldn't say changed it, but it felt like I was started get aware of the local guys more, is when Kevin Hart came over, because it was nice to see some of the other boys, like, you know, do the warm-ups and stuff. And then I obviously started watching the podcast more, and I started watching your podcast more. I think that was when I maybe came on. Was it just before or just after Kevin Hart was here?
It was just after you came on.
Because I obviously did Shaman's one ages ago and stuff, but I don't really have much time to watch podcasts. But flying, you kind of choose a series normally, but then I started watching all your guys' stuff, and like the scene here, like, you guys are all crushing it, man. It's just,
and it's well renowned. We're like in America, the likes of, not saying that we're close to these guys, but like Joe Rogan and all have moved till a wee spot in Texas.
Yeah, tax probably.
Yeah, well, I think they get fed up with LA, and it was rough, and families. They all have families and all now. And you know yourself, you start thinking like that, and they all move to Texas and have this scene where it's just, you know, demons, and it's created this whole big foray. This is where you go now, so it's like the Mecca in America, whereas we seem to be it here, but there's acts coming from everywhere to here. There's comedy on every night in Belfast now, you know, which is affected everybody's ticket sales.
It's a Lav, what's how do you say the name of the club? Lavery's, that's where.
So Colin Gaddis has been starting at, can you hear that?
I just thought that.
Yeah, you can hear it a bit, but I can do the noise reduction thing.
How long will it take? If he's only around if he just goes around the internet and goes quieter.
What is it?
See, we don't get it with Joe Rogan, mate, but I'd have it no different. Mate, because you know what? I love looking after me grass at my house. So if I hear grass,
it's not too fucking. It's somebody says I love the grass over here. Daphne and Puglas, where we are, they love the grass up here. Like,
yeah, literally.
They literally love the grass up
here.
here.
That's the difference. Like Joe Rogan doesn't have to deal with any grass over in Texas.
Well, he smokes grass and all on his show. He's into all his mushrooms and his grass. But yeah, no, we created like a bit of a mecca here, and it was like Kevin Hart came here and he was like, "Oh, I want to do it," and done what he done, and people were like, "Well, fuck, what's going on here? Why is he there?" And then every act now.
Didn't he do? Because I obviously knowing it was at Limelight. Obviously, there's the guys that run the events that I do, like the bigger ones over here. So I managed to get a ticket for Kevin Hart after begging.
Did you have that? Because
yeah, like
they were like gold dust.
They were, yeah. I basically, like, when I was doing my bigger show, I was like, I need to make sure that like it's something I can get a ticket for. So I had to beg, and I actually got like 3 or 4 of my mates to go in the queue as well. So we had to like get a couple, which was I think people were queuing for like an hour, 2 hours every morning to try and get these tickets. So I managed to get one, and they got one through the queue system. And yeah, we went, and it was actually really weird to see someone who you've seen on Netflix and stuff, but he was so small.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he literally, bro, is like the smallest person I've ever seen.
He is tiny. It's I do a bit about that where it was actually like the show I was on that he took, and I had to be told on the Thursday that the Friday night I wasn't performing and he was taking it. And I do a bit where I'm joking. I'm like, who is this guy?
Yeah, that's
because
cool.
they didn't want to tell me, and they were like, he's massive, and I'm going, what do you mean he's massive?
Not literally.
And they're going, he's massive, and I'm going, I don't care what size he is, I'd go to his door. And then they go, it's Kevin Hart, and I go, he's fucking tiny.
Yeah.
But he never spoke to any of us. Like, and we weren't allowed our phones or anything. You know, he was.
Yeah,
like,
they said that in the show, and you could see people just trying to get like a sneaky photo and all that. And I was like,
well, I took the phone out. We can talk about it now because it was years ago. I took my phone out and I recorded him walking past me and then got on the stage, and one of the bodyguards went to take a phone off me, and I looked at him and I went, listen, you're in Belfast.
Yeah.
Fuck
Do you know who I am?
Talk about smack.
Yeah.
And I put my phone in my pocket, and then one of the guys from, like, obviously, you know the boys, TSW and fucking Limelight and Shane, they're my management company. So one of them ones come over and was like, you have to give me the phone. And I went,
yeah.
I told that big fucking American football guy, he's not going into my pocket, you're not going into it. And it caused a bit of problems. But I never give the footage out or anything.
Yeah.
But I have it.
Because I didn't. It took me ages to get a ticket, because obviously I didn't go to like one of his last ones. So he kept announcing like doing one date, and then it was like the 93rd date of the month or something. It ended up being crazy, and it was just like it was basically like the SSE Arena attendance just cut into like little 40 capacity nights. You know what I mean? But no, it was worth waiting. But to be honest with you, I enjoyed like just the Boys from My Breers warm up just as much. Like I think it was just more because it's like someone real famous. And that, you know?
I think that's what happened. I got a load of fun. Like the guys that was at the show that I supported them on, there was some in from Belgium, and there was some in from England, and some in from France, and they flew to come and see him, and they were like, "You were brilliant, man," and that was it. I didn't get another set out of it, like, and I was like, "Did I do too good?" Do you know, it was one of them ones where I done a set that you would have expected like a black comedian to do.
Well, I'll tell you something. In the music world, you would, on some shows, like where you know that like it's guaranteed to be like just your show and there's not really any other acts apart from like maybe local warm-ups, you would never put someone on who's going to play the same style of music before you. Yeah. So if you think that in the comedy terms, he's probably going to... You don't want him to be... Like, I've been to see Ricky Gervais a few times. He's not as funny anymore, but back in like the Office days and extras, like that was my time where I really liked him. And I went to see him, and I was thinking in my head, like, he must have someone really shit before, because if they're too good, like, it's not like music where I can have like better lasers, fireworks, everything's more immersive when I come and I can invest in my show. Comedy, you really have you're talking, right?
There is people that do that.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that.
Well, it's nice to support your own.
I think it has to be a fucking show. You have to like it. They have to enjoy it from the start to finish. And what annoys me too is people send me messages going, "What time are you on stage?" Because I don't want to watch your support act. And I'm like, "Show starts."
See, that is exactly what I mean. Like with our shows that we put on, like I will always. I mean, you'll see some of like the lineups that we put out. Like it's always like other huge names that are playing before, and you give an experience, because you don't want someone to spend a fair whack on a ticket to come see you.
Yeah.
And it's a 6-hour night. You're playing for like an hour and 15, and for 4.5 hours they're sat there going, "This is boring. I'm waiting." You want to give them the
100%.
night out, and I think that's only fair for like not only the people that are you're putting on the bill to play with you, but also like the people that spend in all their hard-earned money. Like,
Yeah. And last year in the SSE, I put on a DJ before me.
that's class.
And I was just
Who was it?
Dave Ralston. Do you know Dave?
No.
He's like a commercial DJ here, but he does like the over 30s.
Like Cool FM style, like getting the
Yes,
getting the all like the radio bangers on and stuff.
But he does a bit of everything. He's like somebody you would get for a birthday party.
Yeah,
but
they're the best ones out there. They know what to do.
He had the crowd going, and then he's a big Rangers fan. I'm a big Celtic fan, so then he started playing Rangers songs and stuff. Like not. Like
as it was kind of
like
part of it.
Simply the best and all that there. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And he was like, "I know you are going to know this is that." So he was quite good. It was entertaining. And then obviously he always had Susie McCabe on, who she fucking got the Billy Connolly Award and stuff.
Wow.
Massive comedian from fucking Glasgow who's going through the roof now, and she's brilliant. And I just went, "Do you know what? I'm going to put her on because I want it to be a fucking show, and it makes me lift my game too."
Yeah, of course.
So it was. That's the way I look at it. But there is comedians that do it.
There is a like one thing that you, especially when you're going to get in this game a long time, and as you get more success and you kind of get used to like doing high profile shows and stuff, like you do notice like tall poppy syndrome a lot in every scene, and like when people around you like they go from being your best mate to then being jealous and then suddenly being like, "Oh, actually I do want to be mates with him because I might get something out of it." And that's something that happens across every scene. Whether if you work in an office and your best mate gets the sales manager job, people are still going to get jealous because they think they deserved it. So I do find that especially I can imagine in comedy like
until we all started working together, the scene was like that, and it's like that everywhere. So then you have the other scenes going, "Oh, we're really jealous of the scene you have," and I go, "Because you are really jealous of each other on your scene." What you need to do is create a scene. So if you have a scene, if you just have one good comedian, it's not a scene.
No, have it. If you also need it's fruitful for the scene if there's lots of other talented acts out there because it gives variety and it keeps everyone talking about the scene. And I think supporting your own is really important. I've noticed that over here, like especially like a lot of you guys work together and like push each other and like do podcasts together or guests on each other's shows. Like in a DJ scene, it's kind of like people. I would say that with my mates, like it's fine and like we like, all support each other, but there's kind of some cliquey little people that like, "Oh, I'm not gonna like play his songs in my set 'cause it might make him bigger," and this kind of thing. I don't like that, man. I'm like,
no,
yeah,
and it's hard to get rid of it because
and maybe that's not why they're probably don't do as well because they've got that bitterness.
Well, as he said, there's like comedy every night now in Belfast, so the regular person that maybe goes to one comedy night every 6 months or once a year, they're landing on a random night where they're going to see a random lineup, so it's in the best interest of the scene that they go out and they see a good act, they see a good show, you know what I mean? If they're going out and seeing something subpar, then they go, that's shite. That's shite, then it goes around that like, oh, it's just a load of smoke and mirrors, like there's the comedy scene isn't really that great. So the fact that everybody's bigging each other up, the fact that like there is such variety, and the fact that there's a lot of mentors, I think that's one thing here. Like a lot of the bigger guys are sort of like seeing the younger comedians or newer comedians come through, and they're like, "Right here, this is you want to be doing this thing and this thing and this." Well,
thing. What happens is if I see an act and it's good, I'll give them a gig.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. If there's an act out there and they're not good and they ask me for a gig, I'm not going to put them on. Yeah. If I don't think the fit, you're not going to do it. Do you know what I mean?
You put a good lot of your own shows on. Like, how much of the process of like putting on a support do you like control?
Well, I mean, we're probably going to come on to it anyway. But like Belfast, for example. So like I've been playing here for 10 years on a big scale.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was a point where I think we'd done more tickets than any other artist in the whole country. I think that might still have the record. I'm not sure, but like it ain't something that I care about. But I saw an interview that we'd done yesterday, and they were talking about it, which is like 100,000 tickets for my shows here over 10 years. Jesus. Which, like you said, if there's only 1 million people that live here, that's 10% of the country.
Yeah.
which is why I do struggle sometimes getting petrol with the and those kind of things over here. What I've tried to do is like, for example, so the next show is going to be August the 15th at Custom House Square, and I basically, like, even like the first couple of DJs is like local support. So like, someone wrote on their story, like, I went from being in the crowd to Ben's event a couple of years ago to now warming up for him. So try and like, I get involved with like the whole process. But because I've done it for so many years here, one big one every year, like you said, everyone always knows that I always do one big one a year. I wanted to do a laser show that was like, I don't think there's never really been like a big production show over here in terms of like, like you said about like, Eric Prydz style or Anima,
I think if you're a dance music fan, and
you've never had it here,
we've never had anything like that. And I said to you, like, I'm willing to travel for that,
it would do so well here.
I'll tell you the reason why is because the biggest shows of the year here are during the summer. So Belsonic is in June, and the event finishes at 11. And the sun doesn't set until about 9:30, 10, so you can't see any lasers properly.
Yeah.
The reason that I've done Custom House Square this year is because it's mid-August and it's dark by 9. I start at 9:30, so and the surrounding buildings help it get darker. So the reason I've done that one is because I know that I can put on the biggest production show of all time.
Do you know what? That needs to have drones.
Oh, we've got we'll do it all.
It needs, because Custom House Square, I think it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah,
I love that square. Like, I just love it. And any event I go to it, and I always go to myself, I'd love to play something like that, but we can't.
Maybe you could warm up for me. Can you imagine that? Maybe I'll DJ on your one, and but imagine, mate. Imagine how cool that is, though.
That'd be unreal.
Yeah, just having like a different concept like that. But we've we call it Field of Dreams, and it will be the most amount of lasers ever done in Belfast. And I've researched it. I didn't want to put that tag out, like, most powerful laser show ever done and visuals. But looking back at even Eric Prydz's show here, he had like, because it was in the summer, so it wouldn't really show. He had like half of what we're putting in.
Yeah,
not even half, I don't think.
No,
so.
And that's great that you're thinking of doing that, because it's going to be a spectacle. Like, people need to understand what goes into that. Like, any of your shows I've been to, it's not even it's the visuals as well. But that's you just set off. Like, people don't understand how much it costs.
Oh God, yeah. Like, you could spend like £100,000-200,000 just on lasers.
So people don't understand. Like, when you do that, I mean, I know for a fact, just doing comedy, people go, "Oh, it's just comedy and the standard, and there's this. You want this, you want that." People have no idea the cost to set all that up.
Oh, I think like. For example, I won't go.
And you could literally just do a show, not do any lasers,
make no money,
and sell a ticket, and you make loads of money. So people need to understand that.
You're
investing back into this here.
And that's the whole thing. Is because I've done it for so long. Is you could just put it on sale, turn up, play your tunes, and make a good wedge. But because I've done a right over me career and stuff, so like now it's more about doing things that I really
want to do.
Like I can be like in 10 years time go, I'll stop and go, do you know what, I really enjoyed that. This is
well, that's like a legacy thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like to be able
I'm
to
getting
say
excited
that.
about it now, because it's going to be one of them things that people's going to talk about.
Yeah, so like it's literally like every laser is like maps to do this crazy stuff. It's really hard to explain. I'll show you a video actually when we get off here, because it's probably my signal's probably rubbish, but it's just it's hard to really sell something until you've seen it.
Have you done this yet?
No, this is world exclusive. The first one, Field of Dreams, yeah.
And Belfast is getting it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've got...
and then is it going on tour? Or?
I think so, but like I said, it costs so much to do.
Yeah.
I will just be this show. I will just spend all the money that I make on this show. Yeah. And people have already asked for us to do it elsewhere, but people don't understand. You can't like go into say like you couldn't go into Telegraph Building and do it, or you couldn't go into like, because it costs so much and you need to make revenue on the door to cover the cost.
There has to be a certain amount of capacity.
Yeah.
So as you can
minimum of 5,000 people minimum, which is just what Custom House Square is. So we'll do it around the world, but I don't want to overdo it.
You're not going to.
It costs me so much to do.
And keep it just like that. So pick your places that you think it'll fit. And
because people don't realise that behind the scenes I have to employ probably 9 or 10 extra people on this one show just to come and like. You've got people that do the visuals, people that map the lasers. You've got people that do your pyro. You've got your 2 or 3 people that film it with like, the drones and the VJs. You've got your tour managers. photographers, videographers. Like, dude, it ends up it's not a small operation.
I love it. People go, he just turns up with his laptop and his earphones.
But there's some people that do
and
that.
They do think that, and the world now, people are getting like more exclusives, and I hope you do put more of this out. You're talking about doing it and stuff. You're behind
I had to bring it
the
to
scenes.
Belfast though for the first one.
Yeah, no,
it's my
that's class.
It's my
That's
hometown in brackets now, you know,
yeah.
and this has been the one place that is like, I mean, when I go to LA or Australia or Asia or China or wherever, people always say, I always watch your Belfast set online. So like everyone knows that's the one that I really like. I show my love for.
Yeah, and you can see it, like you can see it. Just being at it, we were at it, and we had to be in the airport the next morning at like 6:30.
I remember. Yes, I remember.
We're all like fucking lifting our bags in the car. Oh.
I remember because it's one of those ones where like. Every day, because obviously all my family live over here now as well. My mum and dad moved over here.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, they moved down like a year ago. So like all my family's over here. So like it's the one that everyone can come to and kind of enjoy as well. I've got to be on good behaviour a little bit more.
Of course.
I kind of get rid of them at like 11. I'll be like, once the show's over, and like then I go to the after party show. I'm like, yeah, I'll see you later. Thanks so much for coming, and then I can kind of have a laugh.
That sort of happens to me when I do the SSA, because I have like an after party, and last year there it was like I'd ordered pizzas and stuff, and people came, and then it was like I was like, I'm going home to bed, you know. I did that last year actually after. So when the one that you had come to, literally obviously played to, I think it was like 25,000 people at Belsonic or something crazy, and finished at 11 in obviously Ormu Park. Came literally off stage to get out of that venue. I won't actually say how they get us out because people will probably find it. But there's a way to get out of the park without seeing anyone quite quickly. So within 5 minutes, I was actually out of the park, and they took me straight home. I only live 25 minutes from the venue. So I was back in bed, I swear, watching Netflix with Cocoa Pops, like 27 minutes after playing to like 25,000 people.
Your adrenaline, it must be like...
Yeah. And then literally I was like, that was it. I woke up and I was like, oh, wow. So like,
that's I came out of your show, I had to have a hat.
Oh, well, next time we'll sort you out.
I swear to God. And this, like, I am walked through everybody. But you know what?
The best life hack is probably to wear a mask, even though I would never, obviously now you'd never wear them, that if you put it on just for that like couple minutes.
Genuinely, people didn't notice me. And it was great because I was able to just walk through all these young people where normally they would have went, and I was just walking with my family through it, and then listening to everybody and just the vibe after it. So I enjoyed it. Do you know what I mean? I enjoyed that walk along an embankment, and it takes you maybe 10 minutes to get to the end of the embankment, and we went up and get in the car, and then had to sit in the car for like 45 minutes and just watching and listening and seeing everybody getting picked up. And it was great. It was a great event, and it was a lovely night. So
I think that's the thing is, I think that with that in mind, and like you said, like lots of families, you know, and you get lots of like older mums that might be like, you know, anything from mid-20s, late 30s, even late 40s. I've even had 50s that will now come with their like 20-year-old kid or something, or, you know, 18-year-old daughter or son, whatever. I'm now finding that like I feel that it's time that like I really wanted to give Belfast something that a show that they can go, do you know what, like, because all these other countries get these they get these mad production shows, whether you've got your Tomorrowlands, your EDCs, and you guys have got some insane festivals here, but they're all pretty much during the summer when it's light, so you can't do much of a light show. So I was like, do you know what, I'm going to make this. Knowing my luck, it'll somehow stay light until 10 o'clock, and I'll have to do a 20-minute set or something. Because we did say that rain helps a lot, or clouds.
Yeah.
And my VJ was like, who's helping me with the lasers, he said, worst scenario, if it's like a perfect day and it's really hot, it might be light for an extra 10, 20 minutes. So I might have to put my set back like 10 minutes, worst scenario. But it'll still obviously be like over an hour.
Is there a curfew down there?
Yeah, it's 10:45, I think, because you're right in the city.
Yeah.
But I've got...
What is this fucking disgrace?
It's so shit.
I mean, the city's busy anyway. I don't get that, like, why they can't let that go on. Now, I know there's apartments and stuff there, but...
Yeah, well...
Is that something that pisses you off about here, about there's, like, so much restriction? Like, even the...
Nah, but seriously, bro, like, most like, if you're going to, like, you know, Glasgow and stuff, I've done, like, daytime events and stuff, that's pretty standard, to be honest, like what you said. Yeah, Belfast has actually got... The amount of lasers that we're putting in, we have to get permission from the airport because of the flight path.
That was the next question.
They're so powerful. If you actually aim them at, like if you aimed like one of the lasers at someone's phone, it would burn the flash out.
Oh Jesus!
They're like crazy powered. Yeah, like they can burn, like they would burn holes, and that's where we got quite strong laws over here. And mainland and most of Europe and everything as well, because you have basically like they have to be, you can't crowd scan, so the laser will go above your head, and the day before it's already mapped so it can't move, but it'll probably hit like, Custom House Square, you've got like a big, like there's penthouses kind of the other side. Yeah. It'll probably like be mapped so it goes in between two of the windows there or something, so it can't like go into anyone's window.
Oh yeah, really
you can't hit the crowd because you blind someone. You'd blind someone.
Have some smack on. Fucking Ben,
took my eye out.
A hole on my fucking CP company tap. There's a big hole in it.
Yeah. It's
like a cigarette burn, and they're like, "No, Ben, Nicky, no."
I'll tell you a true story, and it's nothing to do with me. When I did my Malaysia show about 5 years ago, we did it in like a car park, and I put in a ridiculous amount of lasers there too. And over there's no restrictions, and it was my headline show, but it wasn't. I didn't do the production or like arrange it like I am with this one. And literally they had so many lasers. I had like over like 30, 40 people messaging me saying that we broke their iPhones with the lasers, like where it's just like the lens had broken. So like they were all trying to like send me invoices and that for new iPhones. I was like, mate, this is nothing to do with me, mate. I literally just turned up, bro. But that doesn't happen in this one because the lasers are way too powerful. So it would just be like a field of dreams, as we call it. I'll send you a video after.
It's going to be sick. I'm really looking forward to it. I'll get that date in the book. Make sure.
August the 15th. If you're watching, August 15th, and then
August the 15th.
When are we going out? What dates?
We're going on Friday, so the tickets are on sale.
So it's on. There's a pre-sale link out now.
Yeah.
And we're now on just the day before, pretty much, aren't we? What are we on? Is it Wednesday?
It's
Wednesday. We're filming. Yeah, so it's already on pre-sale, and I know that like I think half of the pre-sales have gone in a few hours last night. So I think by the time, if you're watching this on Friday, it might already be sold out. But if not, just go straight to Ticketmaster because it'd be like probably the last 20% or something.
Yes.
Last time we went in 5 minutes. Yeah, we went in 5 minutes last time. So
we'll do a clip and we'll get this out for pre-sale to make sure people know, so just aren't disappointed. Do you know what I mean?
And we'll make sure you're there, mate, and I'll make sure the mate's there. Because the thing as well is Custom House Square's got probably the best VIP area. Yeah. Obviously, it's a lot smaller than the park, but it's got a lovely little bit with a private
grass back at the back,
private bar and all that stuff. So I just want all my mates to be in the crowd, and like I said, I just want to put on this it's
going to be great.
This
I'll make sure.
I need a wow. It needs to be like okay, that's a lot kind of thing. Yeah.
No, it's going to be that, especially because where it is and stuff like that in Custom House. I really like going to concerts and stuff there, so I was excited to put on. I like Ormo Park, don't get me wrong, but
it's a different feeling.
It's got that darkness about it, and that like it's got this like show, like like when you see like smoke coming over a stage, and it's more like it's got this kind of backdrop that's really cool.
I remember that I saw Skrillex.
Wow.
In Custom House Square.
That's so mad to think.
And it was mental, and I just remember he put on quite a good light show. Obviously, like you're talking 15 years ago, so it wasn't like what you would get like today, but I remember even then like going, holy shit, this is like out of this world, It was crazy, but class.
We've actually looked at They Might as well, which is random as hell. Like my team is so dialed in on making this like the best one we've ever done. Well, it's the first one, but making it like the best show we've done anyway. That we're looking at trying to get some of the street lights out as well, because we want it to be so dark so that it stands out. If there's loads of lampposts behind that, like kind of like brightening the stage up and that, we don't want that. So we're trying to like make everything. And I think
see if they don't sort that out.
Those apartments.
See if they don't sort that out.
Mate, you better be having words, mate.
Listen,
he'll put PADDY. He'll just put a ladder up.
All I've said is, look, it's something we can get sorted. Like, you know,
if you are in Belfast that night and can't get a ticket, I won't stop anyone coming past in a tractor and putting a bit of black tape over the lights to help the show.
We know people that can turn lights off in this country. You know what I mean?
There we go. Yeah, there we go, mate. You're the man in the know.
Just a blackout in the city and Custom House Squares just fucking lit up the fuck.
Because I was trying to think back, like obviously I've been coming over for a long time, but I was trying to think back like prior, even like Planet Love, Peak Days, T13, all that kind of thing. But I don't think there's like, we tried to research it, there's never really been like a giant kind of huge production show as such. I mean, people like, don't get me wrong, they have like, I've seen lasers and stuff like that, but there's never been like a proper full
there's never been
like investment like that, because it is, like I said, it's crazy expensive.
So if they come here, they just want to come
make
and do
money.
A set, you know, and then maybe we're booked to come and they were just like get in and out.
Yeah.
And that was the way it was always done, you know.
Yeah.
I remember when the Prodigy was here, I knew the guys doing security, and we went to see them. I think they played Cork and then they played Belfast.
Was that last year they did one? Was it last year?
I went till last year, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
Not the same without Big Keith, is it, man?
It's still great, but it's not the show, like. But But I went to see them in Cork and then see them in Belfast, and they literally like just brought them to Belfast, put them on stage, and then they left.
Yeah.
And that's mostly what happens, and people have to do that.
But then I think most people that come to Belfast to perform, I think you're just a number of one of many tour dates. Whereas I think when you live here and you've got your family here, your friends here, I think it's more you've got such emotional attachment to it. You're like,
and that's why you're doing what you do.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing.
And it's great that it's happening. It's big event.
Yeah, there's a thing as well. Production cost, like to bring a tour show across the water, you know, especially if you're doing like a UK tour.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You can van.
Well, there's one company that normally do. There's one company that normally like have a contract with all these big shows. So like, you know, whether it's for Belsonic or whatever, like they kind of come in and they bring equipment and you can kind of like pay to hire it and do what you want with it. But yeah, for our one, we've actually had to get these special lasers, and they're actually being like coming over like literally on the ferry from England. Like a guy, it's going to look dodgy, a guy with all like these millions of lasers, but there's all strict paperwork and regulations and stuff we have to sign to bring them over. But yeah, it's just literally just for this show, because there's no one else would want to spend that much. To, you know,
especially not in Belfast.
Who else is on it? I think it's like Nile Rodgers or someone. I can't imagine him wanting to put that on. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
And I think like Stereophonics and people like that. So they obviously had a totally different kind of show. So
yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. I really, really am. I can't wait for it now, knowing what it's going to be. And we're getting a bit of an exclusive this week, getting it out here, aren't we?
Yeah,
right.
I haven't done
coming on.
Yeah, I do obviously do a lot of radio promo. Ironically, that's where I'm going after here to do the radio stuff. But I can't really talk about like how the process of how to do the show.
Well, Bill, Nicky, welcome in.
Yeah.
You're in today. Speaking, tickets on sale on Friday.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. Well, tell me about this, and then you get literally 2 minutes, and then
and then you'll choose 2 songs that are probably already in the rotation. Well, they're saying that actually on Cool FM. Actually, I did a guest mix. I did a takeover a few weeks ago with Hicks, and I had the best time. But I was allowed to choose like loads of the songs.
I done one with Abe Essay on Q Radio.
You ready? I'm there this week as well.
So see, I had a bit of a thing with Cool FM.
Did you?
There's peace negotiations happening at the minute. So
that's what I'm going after here. Do you want me to? Should I take him a bottle of 42 from you?
It's a bit of a sour note, but it's getting sorted.
Yeah.
So
like I said, mate, you know, bitterness and having issues with people nowadays. I'm getting so old for this now. I just want to be mates with everyone.
Yeah. Listen, the issue I had is that they constantly made mistakes whenever stuff was going out, and they would say the wrong name, like Paddy McConnell and stuff, and I'm like
McGuinness.
I mean, come on, like the name thing really annoys me.
Of course,
because everybody gets it wrong, and you're going, how hard is it to Google my actual spelling? Like, you know,
of course.
It's not that hard to get right.
Yeah,
you know. So,
I'm sure you'll get there, and I think I've had the same with loads of actually a couple of media outlets, even over here. Someone like put a picture up of like, I don't live there anymore, but the first house I lived in over here, like someone literally like mentioned pretty much where it was, and I was like, great, cheers, mate. Luckily I'm like gated and totally away now, but it was like, dude, like sometimes it's annoying when you put your heart in something and then you know you have people that go and tell, like, you know, do interviews or whatever, then it gets totally put into a different context, or like it's not really about your show, it's about like, you know, your lifestyle.
I mean,
or
why put that out? Why put that out? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I actually done a thing on TikTok recently, and it was me going on tour and like, doing it in the day in the life. This is me starting, and I was getting the ferry, and I
think I saw that actually.
I was driving to Aberdeen, and then from Aberdeen I was doing Glasgow to London to Bristol, fucking driving all around the country. But I put it up, and the sat nav in the Jeep actually had my address, and people were like,
"Wow,
you're putting your address up," and I'm like, everybody knows where I live because of fucking Amazon drivers.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually had that several times, because obviously when your company name, my company name is on, you know, on me post, so you'll get like DHL drivers and all that, and then they'll purposely, I've got like to get through where I live, you've got to like press buttons and alarms and, you know, intercom. Actually, it happened during this.
You're like the James Bond.
I love smart gadgets. See, I've got
you've more security in some of the big parts.
I've got robot lawnmowers. I've got robot vacuum cleaners. All the smart thing. I love like gadgets,
technology,
like proper like optimization stuff. But yeah, when people come to your house or whatever, or wherever you are, they'll be like, oh, it's Amazon. I have put it through your post box, but I'm just ringing to check you got it. I'm like, you're not ringing to check this in my post box. You know it's in there.
Do you know what you need to do? You need to have pre-recorded voices.
Yeah, like say there's a sentry gun or something like.
No, I'll do it, and it's like, who are you? Fuck off away from the door. Stop at that, you know.
Yeah.
And you put that up and they go, I thought this was, no, my name's fucking Ben Nicky, same as that fucking DJ bastard.
That.
Fucking,
Mate, can you do that for me? That would be.
Fucking, you have 2 seconds to get the fuck away from my gate, you bastard.
Yeah, get like an automated, like, you know, like some kind of like attack dogs coming out in 10 seconds and counting down. They just do a runner.
But I mean, people don't say you work hard for all what you have.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, from this year, I'm starting to do a lot more vlogs and lifestyle stuff. Like behind the scenes, it is, you know, like that. You don't get somewhere for a long period of time by luck. I think you can always fall into maybe having a chart hit, or you can always fall into, you know, having that huge song or whatever. But I've literally just built myself over being really like a DJ's DJ. I play everything that everyone wants to hear, put on really good shows, and have a great community. So I think that doesn't really. You could wing it for maybe a few years, but when you're doing it for a long time and you're keeping a good trajectory, you can't, in this scene, like we said, it's a very small world. And if you're a dick, or if you go around, you know, I don't know, like being rude to people or just not getting on with people, it soon will get around. Yeah. So you have to be just be fucking sound, mate.
I think it's one of them ones where people are like, do you need anything? And I'm like, no. And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, just everything's sound. And I like to set up. So like, I was doing a theatre show in Letterkenny, and I was there, like, they were like, oh, you're not meant to be here until like 6 o'clock. And I'm like, I like to come and set up with the guys. And I go in and I'm like, just need a hand with anything. And I set my own stage, like where I want it to be, and like have the big signs and all. And because I want it to be a show for people. So when they come into a theatre and you've sold 350 tickets in Letterkenny, I'm like, well, they're getting the same.
It's good going, mate, for Letterkenny, man. Like,
no, everybody's saying that. But I went up and got the big sign that I used in the SSE, set it up in the stage, and I'm like, why would they get any less of a level, you know?
Yeah.
And so I like doing that, and the guys were like, oh yeah, I thought you would have had a team come up and set. I mean, no, I get involved, like I just like it, and they're like, fuck.
I think,
and that goes a long way, because they talk about you and then go, well, fuck, that guy came in, he was fucking asking us to be one hand.
That's something I said last night as well when we put this pre-sale up, and you obviously look at the engagement you get on your socials and stuff. When you've been coming somewhere for so long, you notice people are expecting you to launch a show every year here. So like when I remember when I did it, like 2016, you'd get like, I'm not joking, mate, like 10, I think it was like between 7,000 and 10,000 comments on a Facebook post, right? Which is ridiculous, right? But then as you come here more and more, it goes down. But it starts just to be word of mouth. So people, rather than like commenting and tagging their mates to go, they just buy them automatically. Yeah. So sometimes you think, oh, do you know what? Like, is this show actually going to do it right? I think last year we'd like maybe like you'd have 1,000 comments on your post, but then when it launched, me and Scooter did 25,000 people in like 4 hours. Well, so like it just people, like people just don't bother even commenting now.
They don't need to tag people in it
because they just go.
They just know. Ben Nicky's doing a big show, but what they don't know is you're doing the big fucking laser one this year.
Yeah, Field of Dreams.
They need to fucking know this is going to be.
I think
something you need to go to.
Obviously, I've had to do a short podcast with these guys today, but I think like maybe nearer the time, I'd love to. We first of all, I'm going to be starting maybe my own podcast at some point. Yeah. But if not, I would love to get like a couple of a good group of all of our mates around, like maybe Willy down, like I had last time, and a few boys, and just do. We'll like have a bit of a good crack because it was.
That's.
Yeah,
a good podcast.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It's one of them ones where it's just
you kind of need a few because Willy had some. Willy G, had a lot of degenerate stories that he came out with. I don't know actually if they came out on the podcast, but he has, and you need a few mates that you can just take the piss out.
Yeah, I think Willy G
unleash a bit more.
Yes. And not be worried about what people think. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just tell the stories. But I understand why. Probably because when I started telling this, Shane was, that's how our podcast came about. Shane was like, you should tell the stuff that you tell, like in the green room. And I go, right. But you do worry because people go, there's no way that'll happen. There's not. Do you know?
Yeah.
So I get why he's probably like a wee bit of a. Maybe
people think they're gonna get. I think people think they're gonna get cancelled nowadays. They say something. It's like everyone's got boundaries. You know what I mean? But you also just like you can still be honest about stuff.
Podcast last week with a Pakistani London-based.
Yeah, I can imagine. I could imagine you, mate, getting me cancelled at some point. I see some of yours. They're brilliant, mate. I just. You can say whatever you want. I just got to just not laugh too much, so it looks like whether I agree with it or not, impartial, mate. That's the best way, bro. You got to have a sense of humor.
Before you go, Ben, we'll have to hear the real voice again.
Yeah.
I need some context.
I love that you've changed the voice for Belfast, but it's like you haven't changed the Belfast accent.
Do you think that my accent is just like natural? Like it's just neutral. Like
it's like an accent that people can
in betweeners.
Understand.
It's like in betweeners a little bit.
Yeah, but it's one that you can understand. Yeah. Like if you had that real Western
Whereas my other one is like, all right, mate, I'm from Bristol. I got my combine harvester and my tractor in my garage. Yeah.
If you were to say like, right, I'm going to spin the next one for you. Or
I'm just getting on the ones and twos, mate. Yeah.
It doesn't mix in with it.
Let's see your hands in the air.
Yeah, let's see your hands in the air, mate. Come on.
Like you just don't care.
I think, but I do notice that when I'm down like towards like the more culture areas of Belfast, they have got a bit more of that twang, and I feel like it's a little bit like my West Country one when it comes out. See, now I'm getting a bit more like, all right, mate, like my voice.
Right.
You've got me back in my home language. But I find that they have a little bit more of that like country twang, and I like it, mate. I think it's nice.
Yeah, no, it's good. This country, like there's some voices are class.
Yeah, but no, do you know what I'm going to try and do? I'm going to try and find one of my friends that's quite well known. Maybe they even like get a Bristol City player, or I'll get someone that's got a proper West Country accent next time round, because I think it would be a good little juxtaposition to have someone with a little bit
in Belfast. They used to say, you support Bristol City, don't you?
Yeah.
It used to be a slang for titties.
For titties?
They used to say, look, the Bristol City's in her.
Oh! I thought you meant like that. What is the slang for titties? It'd be like, because it would be Bristol would be like knockers.
Knockers, right?
Look at her knockers.
Like if you think about it, Belfast, they went the Bristol City's in her.
Oh, I'm using that now. Because that's my team, and we might, and that's my team. And this week we could be going to the playoffs. I'm going to watch them Saturday.
And you can't get cancelled for that because you could be. I was talking about the football.
Yeah, look
team.
at the Bristol Cities on that, lads. Yeah, brilliant. I'll have to do it with the accent. I need to get
Bristol Cities and we getting promoted.
Yeah. With that being said, I've got to do one now and go to another interview. Which is,
well, thank you.
I wish I could have done longer because these ones are always best, but. I had the most ridiculous schedule this week, and I was the only.
I'm glad you fitted us in. I'm just excited now, and I'm really excited for the show because I was reading about it and I was just like, this is going to be unbelievable.
Yeah.
So
if you're watching Field of Dreams,
I don't care where I am in the world. I'm going to be in Belfast on the 15th of August.
Yeah, I hope some of the. I'm sure a few people watching this, like depending on the demographic, will hopefully be there.
Yeah.
It's definitely our demographic.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll see you there then.
Fans are going to be there. They're
Right,
100% going to be there.
Get on Ticketmaster. Get all the tickets for his show.
Yeah.
First, and if there's anything left,
we'll get Ben's.
Get both of them.
Because Ben's is in August. Mine's isn't.
Yeah, but if they're there, because if
may as well buy them together.
If this comes out and it's already sold out, I'm like a right idiot. But hopefully it is, and I hope to see you guys there.
I don't think you're going to have much issue with the tickets.
Nah, I know, but it's still you got to tell everyone.
Thing anyway.
You got to tell everyone where it is, just in case it is still there. You know what I mean?
Brilliant.
But no, mate.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me. I expect to see a bottle of tequila on it next time. Although I don't think it will fit in the. You might have to cut it in half.
We'll get a new stand.
I'm going to get a stand made for it here.
There we go.
Here.
Do you know what? Maybe we'll get a sick picture at the show in August or something, and we'll make a little thing and do something funny or something.
Yeah, definitely do something. Thank you, mate.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Brilliant.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.